What's going on, travel agent?
How are you?
I think mine. Okay. It's like I feel like mine is muted. There we go.
Oh, I wonder if I was muted. Oh, I don't see how do you do the audiobooks or you like use a Kindle?
Both. I do both simultaneously.
I can't do it. I cannot do it. I tried my self-diagnosed ADHD. I kudos, yeah. I don't know how y'all do it.
Yeah, we do. So they put me on, a bunch of the girls in the group put me onto the Kindle challenges. So
Mhm.
now everything I read is like from the Kindle. And then I find that to keep me on track with reading books, audiobooks, I have to do it. It's the only way that it'll keep me, because if I'm reading it myself, it could take me like 3 weeks to finish a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it kind of helps me pace myself. I learned that in the beginning of the year. So every book I've done this year has been, except for, well, Terry McMillan, the book that we read this, or How Stella Got Her Groove Back, it doesn't have an audio companion.
Mhm.
Um, so I used Alexa to read it to me. But other than that, I found the audio companion for most everything that I've read so far, or I have for everything that I've read this year. So
So look, I'm
yeah,
here just to support tonight because I read this book I think last year, and because I couldn't do the audio, I was like, I'm not gonna remember anything from this
trust
book.
me, I finished this what, like, right the last day of the month. So
Yeah,
it's still, for me, I'm like, there's so much. That's why I posted that little graphic with all of the people in the group, because I'm just like, I can't keep up with names and people and
yeah,
this person taking on this person's identity. So it was
yeah.
just a hot mess for me. Trying to figure out what is what. So this chat should be interesting, because I'm like, a lot of us are still trying to remember and keep the pieces together. So
Yeah,
I know there's
I
quite a few.
enjoyed books though, still,
Yeah, it
but
was good. It was
yeah.
good. No, we still have a few
Mhm.
that are gonna jump on here. So look, I feel like we got some new faces on here. I love it. Or not our regulars, I should say. I love that though. Oh, we
Yeah,
got Erica coming in here. This is her second time joining the book chat. They're trickling in. Erica made it. No problems. Asia, I got my first Starbucks
Oh,
towards
you
my
did?
1,000 points.
I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah, I was like, I've got to get it in. Oh, Amy, this might be a good one for you. You can connect your Starbucks for Delta points. And if you buy, once you connect it, if you buy from Starbucks twice within a week of setting it up, you can get 1,000 points.
Yeah, I
yeah.
think
I
it
posted
ends September
about
the
that.
12th, so make sure you go this week.
See,
Yeah.
I don't do Starbucks. That's the only issue. I'm not
I don't
a
really either, but I was getting them
Either
1,000 points.
yeah.
I make my coffee at home, but again, I'm gonna get those 1,000 points too. That's too easy.
And I was looking up, I think Asia, you posted the other ways that you can get the points, and I'm stuck because the hotels like Marriott, that's what I use. But I'm like, I use hotels way more than I actually fly places. So for me, the points towards the actual rooms weighs more than, doing the flights, which, because I do a lot of hotels for travel ball and stuff like that. We're always gone, but I was like, the free rooms would probably come in more handy, like that way,
Mhm.
than putting it towards Sky Miles.
But you want to do a big trip next year, so you can
Well,
get that
here's the
done.
thing. I've already got money in the bank for that right now. Um, so before the year 2020, when the pandemic hit, I had a Book Girl Magic retreat that we were supposed to do. Like, I think it was in either April or May, but the pandemic hit right in March. So I think it was April. So I had partnered with somebody. She owns a home. Like, we were gonna do all of this stuff. She has a house like with a pool in Jamaica. And so had already booked my flight. That was part of the deal, is like me promoting it and getting my people to come. I got my stuff for free. So I still never took the flight from that. So that money has been sitting in that bank for years now. So like my flight's already covered now that when we go to Puerto Rico. Because if y'all didn't know, Amy, who's on the chat, is a travel agent. So she just booked the cruise for us for my 40th birthday. So
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I'm excited. But yeah, I don't have to worry about flight because that money's just sitting there waiting for me to use it. So All right, all right. Hey, Jess, what color lipstick do you have on? Because it looks like we have the
Come
same
on,
color.
Boss Lady by the Lip Bar. Hey, black
Ah,
on
okay.
coming
Yours is
in.
more red. Mine's like pink. But I
Boss
was like, I haven't
Lady.
worn lipstick. Yeah, look, I love my reds. But I was
I
like, I
took
haven't worn
headshots
lipstick.
today.
Oh, nice. Get
Yeah,
some updates.
yeah, we'll see.
I love
I
it.
mean,
I love
very, in the office, like white background, but we'll see what it looks like.
it. Hey, whatever works.
Yeah.
Whatever works.
Yep, nothing too fancy.
All right, ladies. I know there's still a few more that are going to trickle in, but we'll go ahead and get started talking about, I know it's hard to say, Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkerson. This book was, I wouldn't say all over the place. It was just a lot of like, I needed her to put like a chart in there. And maybe there was one that I missed because I was reading the ebook, so I really wasn't paying attention. But I'm looking at it now and I don't see one. But I think that would have been helpful to like have a list of characters and who's. Oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff in the back of this book. Look, I'm getting distracted. I think that would have been helpful. So some of you, oh, there's more people coming in. Some of you may have seen the chart that I posted in the group that kind of explains each character who they are. I think it gets confusing towards the end when who was it? Trying to find my.
Yeah.
Was it Covey that took over? Covey, they thought Covey died. Covey's the one who took over her friend's identity, right?
Yeah, they didn't, I don't think they chose one yet.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah,
Still more people coming.
Covey became Ellie.
Yes. It was like all over the place. And then trying to connect the dots. It was a lot, but I really loved it, actually. Definitely kept you on your toes with each person's story. I love seeing each person's perspective, even on the same issues, how they went back into time. Yeah, I really love this. And I'm excited. I hope most of y'all know that it's going to be adapted into a series. So we will have a watch party for that. I've already put it in the group events calendar. That is going to be November 1st. So, of course, that is a Wednesday, the first Wednesday of the month. So, not only will it be a book club day, but then it's going to be a watch party. So, we'll do book club from 7 to 8, and then we'll do the watch party from 8 to 9. I guess if it's episodes, we'll probably just watch the first one. If it's like 30-minute episodes, we might do the first two, but an hour is what I'm banking on for that.
It's on Hulu?
Hulu, I think, yes. And you have to have Hulu to participate. So in the watch party.
It's going to be the same name for the TV show?
Yeah. I think
that's
it's
exciting.
it's an Oprah production, isn't it? There's so much stuff coming out right now. I think it's an Oprah production. Like she's producing. Let me look it up.
I don't remember.
I think because then there's also the other girl, the other Black girl that's coming out too. So I'm getting confused with what's what. Let's see, Black Cake.
Look here. Really scare you. So I hope he's scaring you.
Mute. Okay. Yes, this new drama series that will premiere November 1st. That should be interesting to see the characters in that too. I know I read. Oh yes, it's some of the picture. Yes, Oprah is producing this. So that will be interesting. Also the other Black girl comes out soon. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's coming up in the coming weeks. I wasn't gonna read it, but then the library loan became available like a few days ago, and I was like, might as well. Most of y'all have said that you didn't care for it, so wasn't going to add it to my list. But anyways, so yes, Black Cake watch party November 1st, 8 p.m. is when we'll do that. So if y'all want to join, RSVP in the group, and then there's also, I think I've put instructions in there on how to get the teleparty set up on your laptops. You must have a laptop, must have Hulu to be able to participate. Those are the two things. So, what were y'all's general thoughts on Black Cake? Did we love it? Did we hate it? Were we confused?
I have a question.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm going to remember this to see if it meant anything to anybody else. Okay, Marble.
Mm-hmm.
The little boy that was the neighbor who liked her dog. Did that mean something? Like, was I supposed to catch something? Because, like, at one point it seemed like they implied that he had the same name as her son. And I was like, there's something it's telling me, but what am I missing?
I
was
wouldn't be
wondering the same
surprised.
thing.
Yeah, there's so many connections in this damn book. And so many hidden meaning. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that went over my head, but I wouldn't be surprised if that had some type of connection in it, because I feel like everything in this book was connected in some sort of way.
It was how they mentioned the son having the same name and her being able to actually call the neighbor by his name at the end. That made me feel the same way, Eric. I was like, is this supposed to mean something that she wasn't able to actually say his name? Was it because her son wasn't physically with her? Like, what was it about that? I felt the same.
Yeah, I thought I missed some sort of symbolism. I was like, oh, I'll ask in the group, they'll know.
You know, you got me thinking now, though, if you think about all of the different names that people had and taking over of names, and I wonder if it was like a very subtle symbolism, not necessarily something for a real connect, but just like Covey, Coventina, Ellie, Eleanor, Bunny, Benedetta, like all of the connection. And it just might have been another example of connectivity and names and interchangeability. And now that you say that, Erica, I didn't think about it before like that. I'm like,
All right, Renee, you got to tweet her and ask her. She might not answer me, but she'll answer you.
You should have drug her in here.
No, get out. I'm on my meeting.
Oh,
that was Nyla.
My bad. These kids,
You're fine,
getting on
Nyla.
my nerves, y'all.
Get them kids together, man. They be working our nerves.
I enjoyed it though. I mean, again, it was twist after twist.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like I went, oh, when I figured out that Charles and the mama were now dating. I was like, oh, that's a plot twist. But then it just kept twisting after that.
Yeah.
I thought that that was my first moment. I think that's the first one I remembered. But then I was like, it just kept winding and weaving. And I like stories like that. I enjoyed this one. Even though I was like, wait, who is Bunny? Who is
right?
The
nicknames. Yeah.
The nicknames were a lot, but I liked it a lot.
It was connecting Etta and Bunny for me too. I had to keep reminding myself, like, that is the same person.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it too. I saw like some mixed reviews, mostly because there were so many characters to keep up with, that I kind of went into it like, oh my God, I hope I, actually end up liking it. And I really did. It was really good.
So the reviews are what turned me off. Like, I had bought the book over a year ago and I kept saying things like, oh, it drags on, it's boring. And I kept feeling like, I don't know if I want to commit to that. But of course I was like, okay, I'm gonna read it for the group because I'm gonna show up to the meeting, y'all. But
so proud of you.
Loved it. Like, the writing was amazing. Like, I'm like, I want to shake everybody who said they didn't like it. Like, what's wrong with y'all?
I think just because it was longer than the typical book, maybe, and I think people just get turned off by the length sometimes. I think it's an attention span issue.
Yeah.
I thought it was good as an audiobook because I listened to it as an audiobook, so I think it helped to be able to keep up with the story of especially the back and forth with Covey and all of the different characters, because she had different voices. So I think that was what really kept me into keeping track of the story. I think if I had read it, it probably would have been harder. I probably would have needed like a chart just to keep up with all the different names and the nicknames and such.
I've done it both ways, but the Audible was good because the different voices, that was good.
She did a really good job on the Audible. At first, I was like, "Is
Yeah,
this so
it was
annoying?"
good.
But I thought she did a really good job.
She
Yeah.
did. She did. Because there's a lot to keep up with.
Well, now the men's voices were like when she was talking. I was like, "Girl, stop."
Right.
But otherwise, I think the only point that I got lost, I had to listen to the long shirt chapter like 5 times. I was like, what is she saying to me? I kept zoning out on that chapter, but it was just a quick snippet to then moving on to the rest of the story. But it threw me for a second. But yeah, the audio was good.
Well, I'm in the part of not liking it. I think this is my second time reading it. It went from 2 stars to 3 just because I already knew what was happening. So yeah, I'm on the it wasn't.
Why didn't you like it?
It just had way too many name changes. It was just a lot to follow. And I just felt like it was just a lot of unnecessary pieces. Things that I don't know. This, like I said, the second time, because I kind of had an idea of what was going on and I wasn't going to be surprised about trying to figure out who was who. The second time made it more tolerable. But the first time, we were just like, it's very rare where we have, because I'm in another book club where it's 12 of us. It's very rare where all of us don't like a book. And all of us did not like this book. So it was just kind of like one of those books that we were just like, what in the world? I think it just had too much going on. But it went from 2 stars to 3 this time.
Geez, 3 stars? And you started off with 2? Lord.
I read it for a book club too, but we all loved it.
I think it's funny how we can all have different perspectives. I loved this book, like everything about it. I felt like I kept trying to figure out what island she was from, and I'm like analyzing the food that she's talking about, analyzing like the slang that she was using to see, okay, no, I think it's Trinidad, no, I think it's Jamaica, no, I think it's wherever. The name changes surprisingly didn't bother me because that's how Caribbean people do. They literally, your name could be like Hewlin and they'll call you Marvin. It was like so well thought out. The only thing that I usually don't like stories that are like packaged nicely at the ending. Like I don't need a final ending, like a happy ending to every single thing. And this book kind of had it, but I didn't mind it this time. I think because I was just so caught up in the book that I loved it. So I just think it's funny to hear that you don't like it because I'm like, what do you mean you don't like it? But yeah, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I finally read another book club read this month.
So I did the audio and the ebook together because I like to do that sometimes. And I think like Nikita said, the audio I think helps to keep up with some of it. And then sometimes I'd go back and look at the book and be like, okay, what happened here? Let me go back. I liked it. I did not love it, but I liked it. I think there were some parts that really kept my interest. And there were some parts that I was like, move on. What?
Move it along.
Why? Well, this is so unnecessary. But I did love the concept of, everything that happened. And, I was wondering, oh God, does she ever find Gibbs? And so when she said that she did, I was like, oh God, did they get together? And then she said they did. And I was like, okay, I enjoyed parts of it. So I liked it, but I didn't just absolutely love it. Okay. I am wavering between a 3 and a 4. I'm undecided.
I was gonna say, I love the first 250 pages. And there was like a marked change right when they introduced Marvel. And I think what happened is at that point, we kind of lost some of the other characters and they started having conversations, to your point, Topeka, about stuff like, I know more about what the police officer said during that traffic stop than I know about the conversation that dude had with the girl about her being pregnant. I was like, that's what I want to know about. So I felt like I was left out of conversations in that last, like part 4. It was almost like they were trying to get through a lot. And I was like, no, so I can't tell if it's that I loved it so much that I wanted to know more, or if I just felt like, all right, well, okay, that's fine. But what happened to, like, we lost some detail. There was so much rich detail in the first 250. And I think that last 100 it almost felt like it was trying to hurry up to end or hurry up to fit things in. So I'm on the, I don't know what the mix between love and like is, like 2/3 love, 1/3 like, but it was a good book, good choice.
I think what you're talking about, Nicole, is I heard from my other book club that read this book earlier this year that this book was really, really long. Like, what was it? Like Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois long. Like it was going to be much longer than it was. And publishing or whoever asked her to cut a lot of the book. And so
Wow.
we're missing out on probably a lot of that detail that she had to pull back from. And so as I was finishing the book too, I was kind of wondering of like, well, what were the parts that she took out? And there were other characters that were going to be introduced that she took out too, because she starts to throw in a lot more people towards the second half of the book. And then it's like, wait, who is this? You know, so I think that's why it feels that way, is because towards the end she had to let go of so many people or so many details.
So that makes so much sense, because my sense of it was, well, this needed a good edit. Like I thought the edit the other way around, like take those things out and spend more time with the people we were already invested in. But that's a great insight. Thank you. Because that makes it make so much more sense in my mind.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that was
happening with Byron, because I feel like his story was kind of like we're missing some pieces with Byron and his baby mama. Like that story, I felt, oh my God, what happened? Like I felt like there was some more conversation somewhere, so he probably cut his stuff out.
Yeah, I think it would have been better more than one part.
It was a 5-star read for me. And one of the reasons is I am a sucker for a strong leading lady. And I saw my grandmother in Coventina. And, you know, like I lost my grandmother a few years ago. And one of the issues we had was that we could not nail down her correct date of birth because she has multiple documents. My grandmother's from Mobile. Our family still owns our 40 acres in Mobile, Alabama, because my grandmother didn't know that she had the option to not pay the taxes, and she just paid the taxes on it. So we still have our 40 acres. But when she migrated to Mobile, following a man, my grandfather, she lied about her age to get a job in a factory. And so all of her documents in Pittsburgh have one date of birth, but any records they can find in Mobile, like in, you know, the front of her Bible and things, have a different date of birth. And that was the spirit that I saw in Coventina of by any means necessary. And so I was so in love with her fight and her spunk. Like I just, like in my review, I referred to her as a folk hero. That's what I felt. And the one thing that I love every once in a while I put a quote when I write a review. And when she said, "Who I am is your mother, this is the truest part of me," that's what I want to be to my kids. Like that sentence, I was like, wow, if I could just convince my kids that's how I feel. I was so drawn to her. So all this stuff here are like, well, Byron this, and I'm like, I don't remember that. I just remember Coventina in her cape. She was so badass to me that none of that other stuff mattered. And when people were like, oh, it was dragging, and I knocked that book out in 2 sittings. Like I couldn't put it down. Like that book resonated so much with me. And you guys know how much I read. That absolutely was one of my favorites of the year.
I love that.
I saw your review, Erica, and I loved your review. I was like, oh my God. I did. I love that quote as well. I think I highlighted that quote, and then I saw your review and I was like, oh God, this is such a good review. And Kobe is badass. Kobe makes me love Kobe makes me want to love the book.
I think that's really good to like leave her kids with, because after revealing so much about herself, at that point they're questioning her, right? So she's trying to reassure them, like, I'm your mother. Like I'm telling my story, but don't forget this. Like, don't. Right. I really appreciated that she left them with that those parting words for reassurance.
I think that's where my book club kind of fell. Like you said, we weren't really like into the details, but it was more about legacy. and like what we want to leave for our kids and the stories that we tell our children, what we don't tell them, you know, what we want them to know when we're gone and all of that. So I think there are like so many bigger themes in the book besides like what actually happened. So I think that's why like we love the book so much, and we spend so much time talking about like legacy and like reinventing yourself, which we do all the time, which, you know, Black women do all the time. Like you said, your grandmother, our grandmothers migrated from here to there, started brand new lives all the time. So like we spend all of our time talking about that, and it was because of this book. And then you had the underlying Black cake, which is like a mixture of ingredients. Everybody makes it differently. Everybody has their own way of doing it. And that was like the underlying theme was food. And like most people never even talk about the Black cake. Like I've been in like 3 discussions and hardly anybody talks about the cake, but it showed up throughout the whole book.
Mm-hmm. I
It
asked a
made
Jamaican
me,
about the Black.
oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Nyla.
I was just gonna say, it made me think about like the secrets and stories that we don't tell as Black women because we can't for all these different reasons. And like, I lost my mom when I was super young, but I wished that I knew like who she was as a person and not as my mother. So sitting here listening to her tell her story, you know, from her vantage point to her kids, of all the things and all the ways that she was a person outside of being their mother, I think like more of us need to have that happen. Rather, it's like, I said I was going to journal for my kids when they were born. My oldest is 10 and I haven't journaled anything of note, only when I'm angry. But I want to be able to, like, when they're of age, to be able to tell them like who I really am, and like not as that mother figure, because like we tend to make our parents our heroes and they can do no wrong, and you know everything, you know, that we just put this halo on them. But if we knew more of who they are as individuals, I think it would change, you know, kind of that relationship and everything. So it was cool to see them get to know the real her. And you know, Byron took it super hard and was upset by things and all of that, but I thought it was a blessing for them to have those final letters and thoughts from her.
I love the idea for journaling so your kids can read it later. I feel like I want to go do that right now.
So they have some really good journals for moms to do that, where they ask you questions and you just answer the questions, and then you have a whole journal to read with your kids.
Sorry, I joined the conversation really late and I've loved hearing all of y'all's thoughts. I just wanted to add that I actually finished reading this book the night before I got married, and I have never sobbed so much in my life. Just like all of you guys mentioned, so much of it resonated with me, and just the story about how she moved to England and left everyone behind. My great-grandmother was born in Barbados, and she did something very similar. It was like about that same time period, and she came to the United States, and all of her siblings went to England. And this was like in the early 1900s, when they didn't have like social media, or like, I don't even know like how they were able to stay in touch with each other after going to like such different countries. And a lot of what you guys have mentioned resonated as well. I really enjoyed that aspect of like just the concept of like family, and how everyone's family is so complicated, and how she just wrapped it all up together in the end.
That's so funny. I was talking with my mom and my son on the way to one of his basketball games, because it was like an hour drive. And so we were just kind of going over family history and things. And so I have roots from Barbados. My great grandfather is from there. And then also I found out I knew this, but my great great grandmother, who is white, came from England, was shipped from England to Canada, but she was sold to do like farming work. And we think it was supposed to be like a temporary contract or something like that. But she was a child, and they basically sold her off to Canada to do some farming work. And she met my great great grandfather on the farm next to her. So yeah, it was just very interesting. But then also, my great grandfather left Barbados, moved to New York, started a whole life there, was a pastor. I don't know how many kids he had, but had a whole family, wife, all of that in New York. It was something over like 8, 9 kids, something like that. And then he fled, just up and left his family one day. Left all the kids, wife, everything, moved to Canada, met my great grandmother and married her. She had no idea that this family even existed, all of this. He's a pastor now. So they ended up having 2 children together, and one of them is my grandfather. And then somebody eventually put my great grandmother on game and was like, yo, your husband's got a whole family in New York. And so it was crazy. So they ended up, going their separate ways after she found out the truth and stuff like that. So very interesting. But my grandpa actually like found the family in New York, and we've connected with them. So we're still in touch with a lot of the family members. My grandfather has since passed a couple of years ago, but it's just cool to hear that family history. And I actually found out that piece of history about my great grandfather and stuff, leaving Barbados and stuff, when I was traveling with my grandfather in Barbados. We actually went to the parish that my great grandfather was from. We went to a church that had like headstones and stuff, and we found one with my grandfather's last name on it. So it's just kind of cool to see history and where we come from and all of these different pieces, and just how it all connects and stuff like that too. So
That is amazing. And that's why I always push back when I tell y'all I don't do slave books, because we have so much history and so much more to our story. I don't need to keep hearing that again. Tell me the resilient stories and the proud stories. Tell me the wins. Like, we have such a beautiful history. And like, hearing you tell that is amazing. I would have been wrapped up, and even finding out his scandal and the second family. Like, there's so much more to us than shackles. I can't do another Black trauma book. I ain't got it in me. I cannot do another Black trauma book, because there's too many of us that have these amazing stories to tell that inspire me and strengthen me. I can't do it.
yeah, and that's my wheels are turning, because I'm definitely looking at all these different pieces of history, and I'm like, I've always wanted to write a book. Historical fiction is like my jam. That's my favorite genre. So I'm like, how can I take this story and make it something? Just because there's so much. But and then also, like, in speaking of that, I found out on my grandmother's side that it's either her grandfather, somebody came up through the Underground Railroad. So I found that out this weekend too. So there's just so many pieces of how we all got to Canada. Like, my dad's from Trinidad, originally born. I'll get to go there in February and actually be where he's from on my birthday, for my trip. So that'll be my first time visiting. But there's just so many pieces of history, and we're from so many different places. It's just fascinating to find out. Trying to find a picture because my mom
Look,
sent a
y'all don't
picture
want
of.
me to start. I love some genealogy and some family history. You don't even want me to start. But that is I'm gonna go back on mute because I love it. I'm ready. I'm ready with you. Like, let's go to the cemetery. Let's do this. Let's go to the church. You have to be excited about, especially in the genealogy searches, and being from Louisiana, it's helpful that because the Catholic Church kept immaculate records. And so you have all of the baptisms and the christenings and the whatevers, and you're able to trace that down. And where it gets harder when that wasn't the tradition of, especially in Louisiana, where like there were enslaved people that had white godparents, because that was part of the culture here. So it's a lot easier to find. But when people are able to break through that wall of that historical boundary that comes, it's phenomenal, and it makes my heart sing.
I've shared with some of the people in the group before that my mom is Mormon, and that is, I'm not, but the Mormon church, that's one of their big projects that they work on. They have one of the largest genealogy databases in existence. And so a lot of people go through the Church of Latter-day Saints to trace back. So if anybody's ever interested in it, my Mormon muffins will hook y'all up.
FamilySearch.org. I've gone all the way back to 1400s in England just by putting people in my family tree, and FamilySearch.org keeps adding to it and says, here's somebody else's baptism records. Here's somebody else's whatever.
Wow.
And that's Erica's, through that Mormon church they have done, and it's free. It's not like Ancestry or any of those other ones that you have to pay to. Now, you will find your white side probably more than you'll find your African side. But they will look, Saint, what was his name? Thomas Kesterson, who was born in St. Giles without Cripplegate in London. I said, I'm going to get my Abbey. I'm gonna go find it.
The new
As long as I don't
museum
have
in
to
Charleston, you can make an appointment and they will help you as well. If you hit a roadblock, you do have to pay, but you can, I think it's like a $45.
Okay.
I
But
saw
they will
something about that
help
on
you.
TikTok.
Yeah, you can make an appointment with a genealogist. They have like a separate little part of the museum. But you can do virtual appointments and they will help you find your way.
I'll have to do that because I'm in Charleston often.
Yeah,
Rosa,
well,
what you
you
making?
don't have to go to the museum. You can do it virtual.
I want to know.
Who said that,
Sorry,
Erica?
Kimberly.
No,
Nyla.
it was not.
Nyla?
No,
Because I
I
want
want
to
to
know
know
too,
what Rosa is
Rosa
making.
didn't hear you.
I'm not making
Inquiring
anything.
minds want to know.
No, not you, Kimberly. Rosa. What you
Look,
making?
she's like, what? Y'all calling me? They want to know. They want to know what you cooking over there.
I'm making pasta and ground turkey.
Oh, okay.
Nice. I was hoping you was making some black cake over there.
Definitely not. That's expert level. I'm not there yet.
You know what? And I think I saw a recipe back here in the book. Yep. There's a black cake recipe. I asked someone from Jamaica about this. She said that their version of it's called like Christmas cake. It is black, but they don't call it black cake.
Yeah, and the one
It's
part
funny
kind of
you
described like
asking her
fruit cake.
that. When you were asking was she making a black cake, when years ago, like I was pregnant with Leah, so 13 years ago, I had a little book club. It was like 6 of us, and every time each of us took a turn hosting, but we always made sure the cuisine was related to the book.
Oh, nice.
So it's like thinking about that, like, oh, it would have been nice to incorporate that somehow.
Yeah. That's cool.
I love when you make your little videos. Because what was the book that you did, like some lemon something?
It was the Kennedy Ryan book, Before I Let Go.
The one
The one
you
I never read.
Yeah.
Now, whatever.
You gotta read it though, because she's about to
Well,
come out with
if
another
you
one
gonna
next
feed
year,
me,
and I'm making
if
it a
you
book
go-
club pick.
If you gonna feed me lemon cupcakes, I might.
Okay.
We're gonna have to put her out the book club.
Oh wait, you
I
said
did
it's a
not
book
know
club
she
book?
had not.
The demands.
Oh my gosh.
Sheila, she
We're-
refuses to read it.
I haven't read
Why?
either.
If I get a free copy, I will. Like Keela and I had talked about this. I think that we had the NetGalley arc, and the
Yes.
formatting was crappy. It
But
was like, did
I
she do this
ended
on a
up
typewriter?
buying it. Yeah, I ended
Well, I
up
ain't
buying
buying it
it.
now. I ain't paying my
It
coins.
was one of
but
those $1.99
get-
specials.
No,
How
but
did
if
Listen.
I get it gifted,
I have like 4 or 5
because
copies of that
apparently
book.
y'all want to cyberbully me at this point.
Erica, I will gladly give you. I promise you, I had like 3 or 4 copies of this book around this house, so I'm sure I can find one for you.
When
You
you
can
mail
have it.
that to me,
Yeah,
put a lemon
I'll do
cupcake in the box. I don't want the book without the cupcake.
Listen, it's been a minute since I baked, but it was good. That cake was good. That pound cake. It was good.
I keep getting all of Kennedy's newsletters. I ain't read none of her books. Like I read something I had posted in the group one day. It was like a freebie she did for a holiday, maybe like a 4th of July or something, where it was like a short on her page. Whenever I signed up for that, it signed me up for her newsletter. So I look at them and I'll be like, oh, that's cute. But I have actually not read any of her books.
Yeah, she's re-releasing a lot of her books. Like it's another series that she re-released like within the last month or something like that. She's got a lot going on, but I know the sequel to Before I Let Go comes out sometime next year because I put it on the list because I know a lot of people enjoyed the first one. There's a lot of good stuff coming out next year, actually.
I need to go ahead and read it. I just couldn't, when I first started, I just was not in the headspace for it. I just put it down. I was like, I can't read it, but
yeah.
try
See,
again.
that's what it was. Like, I didn't dislike it at all. Now, the formatting was throwing me off in the art. It was nothing wrong with it. It was just one of those books I sat down like, oh, let me start this, and just never went back to it. Like, I didn't have an issue with what I read. I just never went back to it. And it's been a year. I started in September of last year.
Hmm. Okay. I was trying to find when that read. So April, it comes out March 5th. So I have it down as a potential April read. It's called
That's
This
the
Could Be Us.
sequel?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's called This Could Be Us. Look, I'm giving y'all a sneak peek of what's to come. March, that Christina Forrest book comes out with one of the sisters. I can't remember whose book that was, but we all enjoyed the other one that we read this year. What was it? Or was it last year?
The Neighbor Favor. It was this year. The Neighbor Favor.
The Neighbor Favor.
Oh, I did like that one. Okay.
Yeah. So there's one, I forget what sister it is, but that comes out in March, or that's what I have it down for is March. And then Kylie Reed is coming out with another one in the beginning of the year. She's not come out with one in a while.
I got my denial from NetGalley for that sequel to The Neighbor Favor today. I was, because I had an art for The Neighbor Favor, I was like, maybe it'll give me the second book.
Violet, yes.
No.
Yeah,
But
NetGalley's like
I didn't love The Neighbor Favor as much as her young adult books, but I did enjoy it.
I don't think I've read any of her young adult.
Her young
I don't
adult
know.
books are amazing. Like one of her books, I think it's called I Want to Be Where You Are. That was a book that if I was in a movie theater, I'd be one of the nerds that claps at the end of the movie. Like that book was so good, but it was syrupy sweet. And I'm a sucker for like a boy next door, friends to lovers type trope, especially in a young adult. And her books are like that. They're super swoony and adorable. Like I love her young adult books. And so many people complained with The Neighbor Favor about like how long it took to heat up and how the guy was being all goofy. Like her young adult books get to the point, and of course it's not smutty. There's no sex scenes, but it's just a more cohesive love story in her other books.
I think I own quite a few of her books, though. I just have not read her young adult ones yet.
Yeah, I've read
Which
all of
book
them.
are you guys talking about?
Christina Forrest.
Yeah, Christina Forrest. But Partner Plot is the sequel.
Oh yeah, that probably is. Who's that? Talisha, you said that was gonna be Violet. What Violet? Which one was
I
Violet?
think so. That was the one that was the fashionista, right?
Yeah, it's the fashion one.
yeah,
And
okay.
wasn't she the one that was like got
She was
back with
supposed
an
to
ex?
get married and then he was cheating or something.
Yeah, and then she found or was it the singer that she
Yeah, it was the R&B
singer, right?
or the rapper kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, wait, one sister. Sure, I can't remember.
I know the sisters are hella confusing, so I don't know which is which. But like one of them was with the rapper, whatever.
So it'll probably be a fake dating kind of one, maybe.
Yeah, because Iris was the one that had the little girl. Oh, but didn't Iris fall in love with somebody? Or she was about to get with somebody at the end of the book?
They were trying to put her onto the singer guy.
Is that
No, see, okay, so Violet is the fashionista, and then Xavier, they were an old fling. It was his high school girlfriend, and they got back together.
Okay.
So it's the other sister that is with the singer, rapper, yeah. And that book comes out on my birthday. Yeah, I've got to read more of hers. It's just so little time, but there's so many good authors out there that have just a collection of books that it's the Kindle challenges. That's what I'm blaming it on. I don't have time. trying to keep up with these damn challenges.
They're killing me, man.
Yo, I'm like, I don't
Well,
want
how
to
about
read
we
this
all
right now.
agree to quit? Because I've been wanting to quit, but then y'all pressure me to keep going. But if you quit, I can quit.
I know. I've
I
hit
hate
every
'em.
bookmark so far this year, so I at least have to complete it for the end of the year.
Is anyone else on the call doing
Latin lover one.
Kindle challenges?
Do y'all
What'd
even
you
know what
say?
we're talking about?
Yeah,
The Kindle. If she asked,
y'all know about the Kindle challenges?
Y'all know I gave up after I messed up my streak. I'm done.
poor
Shut
Nyla
up.
said,
Know
"Bump
about
that."
them.
Done
I've
broke
never
her
heard of the
ankle.
Kindle
Things,
challenges.
What'd you say, Ariel?
I've never heard of it. Tell me.
So
Don't,
if you
You might
go
not want to
into
know.
yourself in.
right,
Then you
if you
gonna want
go
to fight us later.
into if you go into your Kindle app and look at like your reading insights, there's a whole list of achievements. I don't even know. I know my phone's gonna be hard to see because it's just there we go. There's a whole bunch of achievements that come out. They're quarterly challenges, right? So there's certain dates where, like what was it, the 4th, the 2nd of this month, the Hispanic Heritage one came out. So there's a list of recommendations that they give you, and you have to read a book from that category in order to get the bookmark. There was like a Prime reading one, so you have to read an Amazon Prime book for it to qualify for you to get that bookmark. There's a summer series one. It's just there's a whole bunch of different prompts. The next one reveals 9/20. So yeah, we've just been kind of competing and reading and figuring out which reads we're gonna do. And I started this year because they put me
Well, don't
on. So
forget,
I've been
some of us get different bookmarks. So Derek
yeah.
and I think Jessica get different ones than me.
Yeah, this was a first this time. I think y'all got different prompts.
What are y'all doing for the series summer? I think that's where I got stuck. I didn't know what to choose, and so I just was like, I'm over it.
What's the Summer I Turned Pretty, that
It's
series?
I started listening
from a customer favorite series.
No, it was this.
Mine?
Yeah, I started listening to the Tattooist of Auschwitz. Auschwitz. I can never say that word because it was like, okay, it's on my library and it's available, and I can do the library checkout, Kindle read instead of buying somebody's book. I started.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's good. It's depressing, of course. It's almost like a love story in a concentration camp, I think.
Oh.
But it's
Yeah.
but I mean, when you really think about, as I've been thinking about, I'm like, oh, this is weird. But I'm like, no, but it was probably real. Like you couldn't help, no matter the conditions that you were in, that you were attracted to or fell in love with somebody and wanted to see them survive. That's basically the premise of the book. Like he is using his influence and power, and he's a prisoner in the concentration camp too, but there's a woman that comes in, and it's giving you the backstory of the expansion of Auschwitz as the major big concentration camp. It's interesting. It probably wouldn't have been my first choice, but I'm like, let me get this bookmark real quick. And I think the audiobook was like 4 hours, so I was like, oh, I can do this and get this
I'm
done.
gonna
behind
do
on this challenge because I've been reading and listening to other things.
Yeah.
And I always get a streak going and then I'll mess up one day. Like it'll
That's
be
me
I
too.
look up and it's after midnight. I'm like, dang it, I didn't. So I'm trying to start a habit of opening my iPad to read on my Kindle app in the mornings, but I
That's
don't.
what I do first thing.
So
in
I
the morning.
figure, okay, September, I'm gonna do great. I'm gonna meet it. I listened to this book for hours because I'm listening to it through Libby, but I have the ebook on Kindle app. I listened to it the other day for hours, and I opened the app the next day, and it said
You forgot.
0.
The only thing I can say,
messed up at the beginning of September.
I want to shed a
If you-
tear for you.
yeah, if you have the Audible, that is the only way that you'll get credit, is if you have the Audible and the ebook, it syncs itself up. Because I know I didn't turn the pages, but I listened to the Audible and it connected. But most of my ebooks come from other sources like you, so you have to do both. But usually, like I have a JBL speaker that's waterproof or whatever. So like when after I finish my workout in the morning, I turn that radio on, open the book, and start like just turning pages and then listening to it in the shower and stuff like that. And then when I come out, get dressed, I'm still turning pages and stuff. So I managed to get it in that way. But it's just become my routine to listen to the book first thing in the morning, after and during while I'm showering, you know. So I'm gonna read Jenny Han's It's Not Summer Without You. It's the second book in her little The Summer I Turn Pretty. It's a Prime Video series, and the second season book, whatever, came out a couple months ago, I guess. So I needed to read it anyway. It's on the list, so I'm just gonna bump it up and see and get my bookmark. Jessica, the book that you picked for Hispanic Heritage Month actually killed two birds with one stone for me. So I got that, the Hispanic
Like
Heritage one, and the
27
Prime
pages.
the Prime reading one, right? It was the most boring story about that damn tiger in the cave. But
Tiger in the Cave. I was like, what is this? I was cleaning out the
like,
cabinets and stuff like, okay,
yeah.
girl.
But it was like an hour long, 50 minutes, something like that. I got it knocked out, and it actually gave me the Prime reading one because I was gonna read The Perfect Marriage, which I'm still gonna read it because it's high on my list. But that's what I was planning to do it. But I was like, oh well, now I don't have to be like so pressed to read that right now because I already got the Prime badge bookmark.
That was one you read for the Latin Heritage one?
Yeah, whatever Jessica posted in the group, it was
It was like
tiger
the
something.
tiger in the mountains or something like that.
I almost did that. Like, let me just do something. But I actually picked a book that it seemed interesting. It was good. It was a good young adult book. It was about a young boy that was not prepared to come out and accidentally tweeted when he was drunk that he was ready to come out the closet. And then, so he basically outed himself when he was drunk. And his father is his father is like very anti-gay and puts him out. And it was actually a good book. So I finished that and I got the little funky badge. I'm like, okay, I only need two more.
What's the name of it, Erica?
It was called Lawn Boy.
It's called something like 1,500 Miles to the Sun.
Oh.
Let me make sure I'm telling y'all that right. I gotta pull up my Instagram.
I tried to read that 27-page book, but I read it in the past, so I couldn't use that for my.
Yeah, 1,500 Miles from the Sun was the one I did. I did the I switched back and forth. Like, this was one where they didn't translate. Like, him when he's like just joking with his friends and stuff, he spoke a lot of Spanish and they didn't like put any sort of translation in the writing. And so I didn't know how to pronounce stuff. I really didn't know what he was saying. And the names were challenging for me. And so a lot of times I was like, he keeps like his sister, I think he called her Zoshi. I'm like, how the heck do you spell that? And so I ended up having to go find it in the book. So I did a lot of flipping back and forth with that one, but I mainly did audio. The narrator was very good.
Yeah, Soshi spelled kind of funny. It's like an X name. It doesn't look the way it's pronounced.
Yeah, it was like XO. I think it was two O's and CHI, something like that. And I was like, that's what they're saying. But yeah, I thought it was a cute book. I would not have grabbed it if it weren't for the challenge.
Cool.
So yeah, this one ends at the end of this month, and then there will be a new one. So, but yeah, there's lots of badges. It does get competitive and stuff, and it's fun looking at the reveals and stuff and figuring out what we're gonna read for that challenge. So yeah, minus 2 days. I think I've missed 2 days of reading and had to reset, but I've pretty much read every day this year.
That reset is the worst. You know, I'm still not over my 1 day.
I know.
From November,
yours was long though.
It was 964 days. And I remember, because my thing is I read in the morning. And we were headed to a family function. I thought I better read now on the way there because I won't read once I get there. And something distracted me. Like, I started talking to my ex or something and just totally forgot. And when I woke up the next morning, first thing I thought was, I need to read. And it was at 0. So I have, with the exception of that day of my grandmother's memorial, I've read every day since November 2018.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get back to that 900.
You still read that day. Don't let Kendall tell you what you did.
Right. I was like, how can I trick the system?
You can though.
I wanted to
There are
try.
YouTube videos about it, but I'm like, why am I gonna fool myself? But
Right.
if you go in, apparently they say you turn the Wi-Fi off, you change your date setting on one of your devices, you flip through a couple pages and go back, it'll reset it. But I'm like, but that ain't right, that's cheating.
Yeah. I'm at almost 800 pages now, so I won't go back. But I think about it often. It has been 2 years.
Yeah, you did well. Did well. Gosh, time has flown today.
It has.
I know we've gotten way off subject. Anybody else have any comments about Black Cake? Like Keela said,
I thought it was very
they
good.
went from black cake to lemon cake.
I wish I could have had more with I think her name was Matilda, the mom, because I was just waiting for her to come back. And I was like, yeah, she's gonna and then they talked about her and then that was it. And I was I guess Niagara Falls or something. I don't know what happened. Well, I know what happened, but I was just waiting for maybe she was gonna show up as her 90-year-old self.
Yeah,
Tell
I
us what
wanted
she
more of
been.
her story.
Did we talk about Lynn at all?
Was that the dad?
I'm looking at my
Yeah.
He was a hot
I
ass
ain't like him.
mess.
If you don't have
Nobody
any
I
cared
wish
for
you
him.
would sell me off for your gambling problems.
Right.
The little man.
Mm.
Couldn't be me. Could not be me.
I know it's ugly, but when he dropped dead, I was like, yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, little man.
Yeah.
Now go find your boyfriend.
That was smooth. Yeah.
Go find your
Like,
real boyfriend.
okay, Miss Pearl, you did that. Or she tried. Who
Really
ended up?
funny.
It was the cup,
Yeah.
right?
It was Bunny.
Really
Bunny
Bunny.
who ended up doing
Bunny
it. She
did
was
it.
looking for the stuff and never ended up doing or putting it in the cake. But then, yeah, the drink got poisoned.
Yeah, and Lynn figured it out.
Yeah, so many twists and turns.
Yeah.
Love Bunny for that.
I
Save your
wonder
friend.
I wonder how many episodes this series is about to be. Or
It's a good question.
Is it going to be like a limited series? I haven't looked
It
that up.
did say, well, let me look because there's a lot of places this
It's
thing can
so
go.
much. Yeah, it's so many. Like this could be
Yeah.
multiple seasons if
They
they
could turn into a Queen Sugar.
Yeah.
Like Queen
Oh,
Sugar is so
easily.
far beyond the book, you know.
It looks like it's 8 episodes.
Okay.
Her life was too rich for 8 episodes.
But again, like you could literally do a season on each character
Yeah.
and do it from their perspective, you know, the same
If that's
storyline.
a limited series, then maybe there's potential because I mean, what book did we read last year? Kindred, yes.
Yeah.
Kindred.
And I liked it.
I liked it too. So I'm low key pissed off because
Yeah, because then it kind of
potential.
leaves us. It was left with the husband being trapped, right? He never came back, and so
no. The husband was trapped, and then she come back with her mom.
Yeah, she came back, but he's still back there. So that's just kind of how it ended. And I'm like, really? Like, because I know how the book goes down, but it's just, yeah, that sucked because I really love that. And you would think with all of the readers out there supporting that it would have.
Yeah. But yeah, now that I've actually read Black Cake, I need to look at the cast of characters and see like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So that's November 1st. So we'll do the watch party after the book club chat.
I just know I cannot commit to a series. Like if it was gonna be a movie, I might, but a whole series, I can't do it.
I want to know how long the episodes are. It's only 8 of them from what I can see.
I'll wait for y'all to talk about it. And then what was that one book? Little Fires Everywhere. Was that what it was called?
Yes.
I was so angry at how much they strayed from the book. I only made it to the 2nd episode and I gave up. Like I feel like Black Cake is going to make me angry. So I'm just going to let y'all talk about it and tell me what I missed.
And then I need to find out when the other Black girl comes.
I feel like
Is
that's
that
soon,
why
like
you're
the
reading the
15th.
book?
It's soon.
It's like
Yes.
next week.
Yep. That's exactly why I'm reading the book. I wasn't going to. The publisher sent me another copy last week, but it actually the Libby hold became available like 2 or 3 days ago, and that's the only reason I was like, you know what, it's here, might as well. But it's actually so far not as bad. I guess I'm like really waiting for it to be horrible, but just because 98% of the people that have read it have told me that it's horrible. They DNF'd it. They didn't like it. So I've just been waiting for it to be god awful, and it so far has not been that bad.
It's
I
not
loved
god
it.
awful. It wasn't to me. I felt like there was a lot of description and explanation of things, and then it went zoom at the end. It was like, whoa. It just
Yeah,
it
I
drug
think
for
it
a
was
while, and then it went
slow.
so fast at the end.
Yeah,
And
it
the
was
whole
slow.
time I was reading it, I was like, this would be a much better show or movie than it is a book. So I'm
I think
expecting good things from the show that were
Yeah.
different than the book.
I was
Okay.
bothered by the way she chose to end it because I was hanging in there to see like where are we gonna end, and then the way she ended, I was like, really? No, you could no.
That
So
was
that
me
was my
too.
beef with the book. I was like, you did all of that for this? Okay. I
was
really hope they
like-
change the ending with the show.
I
No
had me
spoilers.
lying. I know it got to be more because I was listening to the book and I was like on my way to work and I was like, now that can't be the end. I couldn't,
can't be it,
look
right.
at. I was like,
I did all this for that. Right.
Oh Lord,
Ain't no
y'all
way.
got me
Ain't no
scared.
way. I tell people to finish it because you won't believe how it ends.
Right.
It is
I'm
definitely an
about halfway
unbelievable
done.
ending.
So
Yeah,
that
it's just
comes
a
out.
weird ending. It's a weird ending. I was like,
Very
what?
weird, yeah.
That comes out a week from today, September 13th. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. I'll have it done in a couple of days, so we'll see what it's about. But yeah, next Wednesday that comes out on Hulu. Is it Hulu? I think it's Hulu. Yes, Hulu. So we'll see. We'll see. Any other comments, thoughts, opinions, what you're reading, any of that before we wrap up?
I'm reading Juicy J next.
Ooh, is that out already?
Yep.
Oh wow.
I didn't think it was out this soon, but I got some email from Audible and I saw it on there and I was like, oh, I thought
I
this
feel like
was
y'all
later.
just told me about that coming out like last week. I'm like, that's why I'm
Yeah.
like, wow.
I
Wow.
thought it was later, but
Reading The
Nice.
Niger Wife.
I
That's
have that.
good. That was good.
So that's what I'm
I
reading
still
now.
have not read that one.
Matter of fact, I
I'm
just got
reading
a
The
book
Art
box.
of Scandal, and it's pretty good. I tried not to stay up all night last night.
I enjoyed that one.
I was like,
enjoyed it.
Lord, where are we going? Where are we going?
Oh yes,
I'm
you
kind of
going.
scared. I'm kind of scared.
Amy's reading Homecoming. Homecoming or Homegoing?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to be reading Family Lore, and I'm trying to
Oh yeah.
get Christina Foster's book in Net Gallery because she put out yesterday that the ARCs are out if people want to read them, and so you got to ask for it because I love The Neighbor Favor. I love that book, so I need to hear
Good
about that.
luck.
I was just about to say, Nicole
denial
came on
letter
after
hit
we had
my
that discussion,
inbox
so
quick.
I had to leave for another meeting.
They sent me that denial so fast. I'm like, damn, did I even think about it?
Dang.
Let me go try. Sometimes I get lucky.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. But you know, I do be getting denied sometimes, so the name doesn't always have pull. Some of those
I
publishers are
just-
super strict.
Yeah, I just started One Blood by
Oh, I'm
Denise
about to start
Miller.
that one. I'm excited
So-
about that one.
So I downloaded it and the audiobook is 19 hours.
But Tina Lifford is one of the
Yes, and
yes.
Bonnie Turpin. So when I saw
Yes.
that, I
I'm
started it on
excited.
the
What
way
book is
home
that?
from work.
One Blood by Denise Milner. She said it's like This Is Us, Queen Sugar, and
The
Color
mothers.
Purple all in one.
Yeah, all rolled up
I was
into
like,
one.
oh,
So I was
I
like,
need this
okay.
book.
Look, me and
It's a
Jess are
whole
like,
lot.
I was like, I
look,
said,
me
let
and
me
Jess
get
are
this
both
book,
like, huh?
honey.
One
I
blood.
attended one of
All
her.
right, let
I
me
got
write this
the
one
advanced
down.
copy, but I need to go ahead and I got invited to this book chat with her, and she was just talking about it, and they asked her to, you know, if you could describe, if it was like a show, a TV show, what would you say? And she's like, this is us, Queen Sugar, and yeah, it's an
Hold
intergenerational
is placed.
thing. Yes, you
Right,
need to go
look.
ahead. I know it's gonna be
All right,
good.
let me
I
go
know
to
it's gonna be
Libby right
good.
quick.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I know it's gonna be good. I was
Y'all
like,
know I was.
that's my next. I'm probably gonna start
Yeah.
that tonight, actually. So
Yep.
When did it come out?
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Y'all know I be stalking Libby for the Tuesday
Wait.
releases.
And who's it by?
Yeah, you Deneen Milner.
I have been seeing that because
She's like the ghostwriter. She's been a
Yeah.
ghostwriter for a long time, but she's finally
Yep.
doing her own thing now.
I read a book by her
Oh, I seen this
years
book.
ago, but it was a totally
You have,
different
yeah.
genre. Like
Yes,
when I
because
saw
she
the newer
wrote Steve
book, I'm
Harvey's
like,
book.
I said,
Yeah,
she's writing this kind of book.
ghost, but she's been a ghostwriter for everybody,
Oh, I
and
didn't know
she's
that.
just started
I
writing like her
recognized the
own stuff.
name.
Mm-hmm.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
because
What
I think
did
she
I
has her
read
own
from her?
publishing or her own publishing company, maybe, or something. Like the books are distributed. I don't know. She has some type of company or whatever, because she's been in the game for a long time. But I'm super excited about that book. So
Yeah, the name sounded
let me.
familiar.
Yeah, I
The
think I
book
saw
I
it on
read
your
by her is
page,
called
Kimberly.
In Love and
Yeah,
War.
because that was after I attended that chat, and I was like, I cannot wait for this
Mhm.
book to
Well, it's
I
on
have a
hold
copy.
for
I
me.
have an ebook copy though, and I'm like, I think I
What's the
want to
name
do
again?
Audible.
One Blood.
One Blood. I'll put it in the chat.
Mhm.
It's 4 weeks. I'm doing this because Libby gives it a little tilde, like
Yeah.
approximately 4 weeks.
Mine is 2 weeks. Well,
Oh,
Miss
it's
Charlotte
4.
is 2 weeks.
Let me.
I don't even know if my library has
It
it.
says I'm second in line, and there's 1 copy in use with 2 people waiting. So we'll see.
Yeah,
But
she used to
all
write
of those that you
romance.
named is a combination of, it's a mix of this, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a good book.
That's what I'm
Some
saying. When
drama.
she said that, I said, "Oh, hold on now. I need
Oh, but look,
this
y'all.
is my
But
language."
wait a minute. I'm gonna
What?
read it. But on my Libby page
Uh-oh.
it says the blurb, the post in Delicious Decadent Prose, blah blah blah, by Tara Stringfellow, national
Oh
bestseller
yeah, I saw that.
author of Memphis.
Just
I
ignore
don't
her.
read nothing that she
Throw the whole book away. Look.
throw it away. I'm gonna
Just
dress
ignore
myself
that
in
part.
Gucci as I throw it away.
Ignore that part.
You know, a publisher sent me a book the other day. They were like, "Hey, because you liked Memphis," and I was like, "I did, but don't tell nobody."
Not no more.
Right.
I read
It's a
it before I
secret.
started
I
Like,
used to
tripping.
like
That was
Memphis. I used to
before.
like
Yeah, I
Memphis.
had the arc for
Yeah.
Memphis, so they sent me another arc. I'm gonna read it, but yeah, I looked on my Goodreads. I have a Denise Milner book from 2003 that I read with Nick
Which one
Child.
was it?
In Love and War. It was a romance
Oh,
type.
okay, I didn't read
The
that one. Okay.
enemy to lover type. That's why I was like, every time I see her name now, I'm like, she used to write years ago, but it was a
She writes
different vibe.
everything. Mm-hmm. I think she
So
writes a little bit of
maybe
everything. Like I said, she was a ghostwriter for Steve Harvey, so she writes a little bit of everything.
I'm not gonna let Tara mess up her book. I'm gonna go
Don't
ahead.
don't let it.
Don't
Don't
do
let
it.
it mess it.
Draped
Yeah,
in
don't do it.
Gucci, drinking my Aperol Spritz in my Roman villa, girl. Okay, girl.
hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, it's been awesome talking to you as always. This month is Hispanic Heritage Month, so we will be reading Family Lore
That
by
was
Elizabeth
I might read that
Acevedo. Yeah, I'm
I
excited
might
for
do
this
that.
one.
Who said that? Who said
Listen,
that? I read that? Erica.
I got
Me.
my book for $10.
You know, I don't
Folks
normally
be
read
cutting
the
And she
book
up.
might be
with the
back.
Cutting
group.
up. She said, I might read it.
That's
Either way,
why a lot of
either
times
way
I
I'll
don't show up
log
because
in,
I
but I
read
don't know
it.
if I'm gonna read it.
I might read that one.
Lord Jesus.
You know
You
you want
gonna
to
read
come,
it.
Erica. You know you like hanging with us.
Right.
Some of y'all. Y'all
Some
fighting
of
amongst
us.
yourselves to figure out who
Jesus.
I don't like. No, everybody
Oh
here
my
is cool.
God.
I'm still feeling some type of way, but I'll tell y'all later about
Oh my God.
that nonsense in the group the other day.
What?
But I like y'all.
Uh-oh, somebody in the group
What's
acting up.
happening?
No, somebody
When
just
did the
said
book
something that
club
was
go
so
there?
ridiculous to me, I can't let it go.
Okay, you acting like a Pisces now. You not letting stuff
Do
go.
I? Oh.
No, she ain't like a Gemini.
A
Yes,
Gemini.
she is.
Oh, y'all can't
I'm
let
acting
stuff
like,
go
I'm acting
either.
like a June Gemini because there's a big difference.
There's a
Oh
huge
Lord,
difference. Honey.
here we
Well,
go.
shoot, tell me what the difference is. My mom is a May Gemini, so
May Geminis are sweet.
Normally
shit
when I
me.
say
Look,
people
sorry, mom. I know you might see this
June
on YouTube,
Geminis are
but
Who
different.
says hello, y'all? Lord have mercy.
nah,
I'm
man.
trying to think of a female June Gemini that y'all would know. Probably only Remy,
No
Alicia
celebs that are June
Rashad.
Geminis.
See, most of the ones you know are men, and they act like a donkey, like Kanye,
And
Donald
see,
Trump,
yeah,
Ice
see,
Cube.
and like when people try to group Pisces together, I'm like, nah, the males be on some totally different stuff than what us women be on. Like
Exactly. Totally
you can't
different.
judge a male Pisces and a woman like they're not the same. We are way
Well,
different than
my favorite
male
horse is a
Pisces.
Pisces, so I don't know. I don't have no beef.
You say yo?
I
Oh
don't have
Lord.
no beef.
Oh
You know
Lord, have
what?
mercy.
On
It's
that
time to
note,
go.
look,
Look, Renee said, and in the chat.
this
Let
is
me chat.
BGM after dark right now.
Anyway,
What
Black
this
Cake
turned
was
into.
really good.
Y'all are funny.
Yeah, I've never dated a Pisces, but I won't because the men are just
I have not.
Pisces are the worst.
women I love. I get
Male
along with
Pisces are the
women
worst.
so well, but the men, like, they're just, I
Male
can't.
Pisces.
I've heard a lot of horror stories. What'd you say, Nicole?
Male Pisces and male Scorpios are the worst.
Ooh, male
Yeah, I've dated a male.
Scorpios. No.
I was
Male
telling
Scorpio.
somebody about a Scorpio, and Jess, it was you the other day. I dated a Scorpio, it was like my high school sweetheart. So, a few years after college, came home, he had this girlfriend. Like, we would all hang out in groups or whatever. Well, like, he started cheating on her with this other girl, and the other girl was like messaging me, and I was like, I don't care what happens, as long as y'all are being truthful about what's happening, I don't care, right? So ever since then, he's like blocked me from everything, right? Blocked me, isn't friends, wouldn't speak to me, like we're just done. I'm like, cool, I don't care. You do your dirt. I'm just speaking the truth. Don't keep me involved in this. Has nothing to do with me, whatever. So, mind you, I have not talked to this dude in years, but I'm real cool with his family still. His mom was always been like a second mom. So when I got married, I'm now divorced, but when I was married years ago in 2010, she came to my wedding in the Dominican Republic. He had the nerve to ask his mom why he wasn't invited to my wedding. I'm like, bro, I haven't spoken to you in like 3-4 years, and you expect me to invite you to my wedding? Like, I'm just like effing crazy right now. So yeah, Scorpios are kind of out there. The men, I will say that disclaimer. The
Yes,
men, because I do get
I was
along
just
with like
replying to
women.
Danny. It's
I
the
do get along.
men.
Yeah.
It's the men in a dating relationship. Male Scorpios in a dating relationship are, oh Lord have mercy.
Look at Amy.
No, Jess, I
Amy
have the
said-
son. I have the son who's 11. He's a hot mess.
Felicia, pray over him, anoint him, teach him all of the right ways, because if he's led by that sign, oh my God.
Oh no, it's already
Amy said in the comments, nah, them Taurus men are trash.
They're
I
trash
concur.
too.
Amy, you remember the dude that I dated like during the pandemic when it first started? Yeah, he's a Taurus. Jess, you know that whole story. Actually, I think I told
Listen.
a bunch of y'all about got engaged in Dubai. That whole story. Yeah, he's a Taurus. So
I need to send them a bag, huh?
yes, a bag of.
Here's a good cleanup for all of it. They're
insert the flying
all
eggplant
problematic.
emojis right now.
Yes,
They're flying.
Jessica, that
They're
is
just all
true.
problematic.
All of them.
All of them.
Except my favorite
That
horse.
would be hilarious, except he probably would know where they came from or who was associated with.
Well, my friend who hurt the guy that she broke off an engagement with, and for y'all that don't know, we talk about sending a bag of gummy dicks. because I will send them. So if you don't like your ex, give me the address. I will send them a bag of dicks. But my friend, she just knew that he was going to know it was her, and she's bumped into him, and he hasn't mentioned it. Like, we have been waiting because it was last September. I sent them, and I keep saying, like, did he get them? Did he say anything? Like, we're not getting the satisfaction of knowing
He's
he
too
opened
embarrassed
the
to
bag
check.
of dicks.
He's ashamed.
Plus,
Yeah.
I did the upcharge for the confetti that's shaped like penises. So when he opened it, he would have dick confetti all over his floor. And he's never complained about it. And like, we're not getting that satisfaction.
Yeah, it's like Talisha put Libra men. I can't agree with mine's currently is a Libra, so now they do sometimes have a little anger in them that you just got to be like, chill out, buddy. But for the most part, like, Libra's been great for me. 3 times. You dated 3 different Libras?
Oh Lord.
Right.
Well,
Like,
all
where
of
you
the
finding
all
these
Yes.
Libras at?
Three different times, and that's why it's a deal breaker. It's on my dating profile. If you have
What?
2 baby mamas, 2 divorces, or you're a Libra, don't even apply. No.
See, mine is none of that. No kids, never been married, like none of that. So, yeah.
Oh, he is a Libra, huh? No. Oh, he is. No. Virgo, Libra. Oh yeah, no. Leo, Virgo. Oh yeah,
No.
no.
September
What?
28th.
28th. I was like, I know his birthday now.
Oh,
Okay.
hell.
She said, "Oh hell."
Well, I guess combined with my Aries spirit, it don't work.
Which is
could be.
interesting though, because my 2 kids are Aries though, and they love him. But it's a different type of
They're
relationship
not
too.
in a
So,
romantic relationship.
right. I was like, it's a different type of relationship. That's very interesting. And again, it could be whatever your sign is and what their sign is, the compatibility could be, you know, way different. Like for me, Capricorns are supposed to be loyal, and I married a cheating one, so there's that.
I mean,
every time I see it in a
Aquarius,
horoscope or a description, I'm like, bullshit.
they say Aquarius and Gemini. I don't know. I'm gonna leave the jury out on that one too.
Wow. That's hilarious. Geminis I could probably see. They got those split personalities.
Don't do it.
I could see it. I could see it. The men, look.
I wouldn't, you couldn't pay me to date a June Gemini.
Yeah. Yeah, I could Gemini's period. I think I dated a May Gemini, and he's actually, let me go check because I'm not sure now. But he was just he's got some great qualities, but man, like the patience runs thin. Now I gotta look that up. I gotta figure out. Let's see. Oh, he's a June Gemini.
Crazy.
June 1st.
Oh, crazy.
Who is that?
Wow. Someone? No.
Oh, someone.
No, it's someone. He's actually an author, and I have his books up there too. It's someone I dated like years ago, probably 5, 6. It's been a minute. Way before the pandemic, so 2017, 18, maybe around that time. But yeah, definitely a June Gemini. But yeah, that was interesting. The emotions, very emotional,
Yeah,
and little patience.
I always say for male June Geminis, I think they're passionate, but they get written off as crazy. But I think it's more passion.
Yeah.
They're just very aggressive about their delivery.
Yes. It was like one thing that turned me off is like this is how long ago we dated. Tatum and Tenley were very little. Probably 4, I don't even know. This is how long ago that was. But like would get mad. I'm on the phone talking to him and he would get mad that they would like keep coming up to me and interrupting me. I'm like, dude, they're like 4. What do you expect? They're babies. Like they're going to come up and interrupt me. I'm the only adult in this household. Like, but we'd be so irritated when they would interrupt me when we're talking on the phone. I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. Like, what do you expect? That's just their kids.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that was a huge red flag. And I'm like, and mind you, gosh, he's probably like 11 years older than I am. So his kids at the time and still are like grown out of the house, like, so he's just not used to dealing with young ones, but it's been a while. So, but that was a red flag for me.
So we know what kind of dad he was when they were little. He didn't do the work.
Right. Because I'm like, what do you expect, dude? But yeah. Anywho, we've been on here forever. I appreciate y'all, ladies. Y'all are awesome. I know our conversations get carried into other things, but that's honestly one of the best parts of this book club is we just
That's what friends do.
Yeah.
This is a Libra man right here.
Oh gosh.
Cutting up.
And he has your heart. Look.
He's a mess and a half.
He's just getting spoiled.
He's the 26th.
Wow. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Well, with that said, going to end the chat. Thank y'all for joining tonight. It's lovely as always. And yeah, we'll see you in a month.
Thank you. Bye, ladies.
Bye.